Hello and welcome back to another episode of Main Event Wrestling, and this is WWF Smackdown 2. Know your role. And this is Championship Monday 2. Yes, so about a year ago now, I went ahead and played Smackdown 1 on PS1. And I put together Championship Monday, and I really enjoyed it, but, you know, trying to find a way to get Championship Monday 2 up and running. So, to hell with it, let's go with SmackDown 2. You know, they both got create a pay-per-view modes and everything like that. You know, and we can relive some good old times and everything like that. Simpler times. Before WWE games kind of went a bit too simulation-y. And also, you know, reminisce about the roster and certain matches that took place, you know, around that time. Anyway, so with Championship Monday 2, we've got 7 championships on the line with one special attraction match, and they are as follows. Keep in mind, there's not going to be like any random stipulations besides 1, 2 actually. So here we go. Right, in our opening contest, it will be Eddie Guerrero with Chyna versus Venis with Trish Stratus, and that will be for the Intercontinental Championship. Then, for the Light Heavyweight Championship, Scotty 2 Hotty versus Dean Malenko. In a hardcore time limit title match, it is Steve Blackman versus Crash Holly versus Bubba Ray Dudley versus The Big Boss Man. For the Tag Team Championships, it will be Matt and Jeff Hardy versus Edge and Christian. For the Women's Championship, Lita versus Ivory. The European Championship will be on the line between Al Snow and Perry Saturn. Then, our special attraction match, it is Mankind versus Triple H. Yes, they're going to go at it one more time. Then finally, our main event for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, The Rock versus The Undertaker. So, we're going to go play through all of these matches, as you can see, by the 1p in the same row as, you know, which particular wrestler. You know who I'm going to be playing as. Right, so we're going to start off with Eddie Guerrero and Chyna versus Venis and Trish Stratus. There's not going to be any breaks in the middle. It's just going to go boom, 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 straight through. So without further ado, let's wrestle. Alrighty then, so the match has begun. I am Eddie Guerrero in this opening contest against Venis for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, there are no time limits, so this can go on for as long as needed. And to be quite frank, as opposed to Championship Monday 1, I am hoping to defend more championships than win. And obviously it would help if Val was to stop being a jerk and let me get my attacks in. But the thing is, this particular match reminds me of, a match from SummerSlam 2000, but it was a tag team match. It was Eddie Guerrero and Chyna versus Venis and Trish Stratus. The winner Val was the Intercontinental Champion walking in at the time, and Eddie Guerrero was in his storyline with Chyna. Trish Stratus was the manager of Val at the time, but also not exactly the wrestler she would eventually turn into. You know, and obviously we all know Trish as arguably the best of her generation. Here we go, finally. I was wondering how long it would take me to be able to execute a, some kind of grapple attack. But yeah, so it was Venis and Stratus, with Venis as the Intercontinental Champion. If Venis or Trish got the pin, then Val would still be Intercontinental Champion. But if Eddie or Chyna got the pin, then they would become Intercontinental Champion, right? And I've just realised that Chyna and Trish going at it outside of the ring. Oh god, it's things you love. But yeah, so it ended up with Chyna getting the pin, So she became, I think it was a 2 or 3 time Intercontinental champion. She held the belt for a little bit before eventually dropping the title. I think she dropped it to, yeah, it was to Eddie, because didn't he get some kind of like pin by accident? Or yeah, I think he got like a pin by accident or something like that. Right, need to remember how to do Eddie's finisher. I forget if his finisher is still the lasso from El Paso or if it's frog splash. You know, I just can't remember at this moment. I need to make sure Val doesn't get too much of a head of steam to be able to take me out. Alright, let's head to the top rope. Here we go. Yeah, it's the frog splash. This should be over. Oh, it's a 1 count. No selling my assault, are you, big Val Boski? But yeah, also SummerSlam 2000 is like one of my favourite WWE pay-per-views of all time. Kick out. He's barely done any assault and he managed to get a 2 off that. That's insulting. But yeah, Val just no-selling my frog splash at the end there. What a jerk. I mean, we all know now he's a bit of an outspoken fella these days and not exactly got the most, you know, best reputation within the wrestling industry these days, along with, you know, wrestling fans. Very controversial, apparently. Totally missed that. Excellent drop kick. Right, so I want to know what's everybody's favourite memories of playing this game. God damn it, stop kicking out. But yeah, I've got some like really fun memories of playing this game, as well as, you know, just having a good old time. I mean, there's a lot of finicky things with the game. Like, everybody will remember just the friggin' load screens, man. Everybody remembers those. Just how long and how often that they took. It was just like, Jesus Christ. Right, okay, Val. Let's finish this off. Damn it! Can't let Val become Intercontinental Champion again. Get to the top rope. Here we go. Boom! Oh, I forgot I had KOs on. Shit, that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, shit, I forgot I left the knockouts on. Just completely forgot. I'm a little bit angry, disappointed in myself, but at the same time, I'm not going back out and sorting it all, you know, changing it all. Do you know how long it took to set this all up with all of the load screens and everything like that? It takes a while. It really does. But yes, this is now the second match. I retained the title as Eddie Guerrero. Now we're in our second match. Scotty 2 Hotty versus Dean Malenko for the Light Heavyweight Championship. Now, these two did face each other for the Light Heavyweight title back at Backlash 2000. Just trying to remember who walked in as champion. I think it was Scotty. Who walked in as... Boom, sucker! Yeah, I think it was Scotty who walked in as champion and ended up losing to Dean Malenko. Wow. Oh, damn. Coming up with a sneak attack. Got yourself a cheeky 2 count. But yeah, they actually had a really good match. Now, don't get me wrong. Dean Malenko was capable of having a great match with a broom because it's Dean freaking Malenko, right? Stop. But, you know, like, it was actually nice to see, you know, Scotty and Malenko have, you know, a program walking into it. I mean, like, okay, so you might argue that it wasn't exactly the most exciting. Oh, Grandmaster's in. Hey, Grandmaster. I was going to have this as a, what was it? What do you call it? Similar to the first match with a manager, and I was going to have Grandmaster Sexay and Perry Saturn. Obviously, it makes sense with Grandmaster, you know, Scotty's tag team partner from Too Cool. But then it also made sense to have, there we go, finally got a grapple attack in, sort of. But then it also made sense to have Malenko being accompanied by Saturn, because they were part of the Radicals, you know? So it made sense, but then due to like the ranking system and what have you for this game, it proved to be a lot more difficult than anticipated, because then Al Snow doesn't get a challenger for his European title, because it has to be direct contenders in the ranking system to be able to, you know, to be able to challenge. So the champion is obviously number one, and let's use the case of Malenko versus Scotty. Scotty Too Hotty was the direct number one contender, so you've got to have Scotty face. If you're going for multi-man matches, it then goes from Scotty to the next person and the next person. You know what I mean? That's pretty much how it... Oh, crucifix pin! I was about to say, that's a rope break. You know, so that's pretty much how it worked. And, yeah. So, I couldn't have Saturn. I did think about, like, having someone that maybe Malenko, because at this time Malenko was also kind of like having a few other managers here and there, or like female wrestlers, sort of, because they gave him this like shit James Bond style kind of what's the best word I'm looking for, ladies man, basically. It failed quite considerably. The only time that I remember Malenko doing anything outside of, well, to do with this gimmick in any kind of rivalry outside of this one, especially with the Light Heavyweight Championship, was when he walked into a rivalry with the Hardys and Lita, and they had a six-person elimination match at Armageddon 2000, which the Radicals won, because it was Saturn, Guerrero, and Malenko, right? Stay down, I want to hit the worm. There we go. Right, let's try this again. Damn it, stay! Okay, go for a cheeky pin. Ah, didn't get the worm. Right, I know I said now I wanted to, you know, go boom, 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 match into match into match, but I want to get started on the hardcore time limit match, and yeah, it's 30 minutes long, so we're going to show, you know, a little feature that you normally get when it came to Smackdown, you know, Smackdown 2. Which is the skip match function. A player has entered this match. Are you sure you want to skip this match? Well, in this case, gonna have to, because 30 minutes for a hardcore time limit, like, I looked at the rules and I wanted to change them, but I can't. So I'd need to go out, restart everything, and I'm not prepared to do that. So yeah, we're gonna skip this one. We're gonna see who wins. Right, this is the neat little feature. You know, you see the meters go down. Who's going to come out on top, boss man? It's Blackman. Blackman retains. Whey! So now we're going to get back into business. Matt and Jeff Hardy versus Edge and Christian for the Tag Team Championships. Let's wrestle. I feel bad about having to skip through that match, but it needed to be done. it did need to be done, because at the end of the day, it was 30 minutes. I looked into trying to change the, I looked into trying to change the time limit. It didn't give me any kind of option. So the only thing that I could do really is just skip at the end of it, and it sucks. I didn't want to. I was hoping it would be about 10 minutes, but then when I saw 30, I was like, hot damn. That is just not happening, bro. Just ran into Christian there. But yes, this is now for the Tag Team Championships. The Hardys against Edge and Christian. Obviously, Edge and Christian having many a war against the Hardys. Edge having a very personal rivalry with Matt Hardy. Edge and Jeff Hardy had their rivalry over the World Heavyweight Championship. Christian and Matt Hardy, they've had their dealings over titles as well. All legends within the business and everything like that. There was one thing that I wanted to say. What was it? So how do I... There we go. Just trying to remember how to tag out so I can tag in as Jeff. One thing I wanted to say during the hardcore time limit match was I was actually really happy to see Bubba Ray. Oh damn. I was really happy to see Bubba Ray at WrestleMania this year. I know a lot of people were questioning the whole Philadelphia street fight between the Final Testament and the Pride, Street Profits and Bobby Lashley against Karrion Kross and AOP. People were just like, oh yeah, it's just a filler match. It's just a filler match. Yeah, it was just a filler match. But we got to see Bubba Ray Dudley. We got to see some kind of 3D. And also we got to see a what's up. So it was, it did what it had to do. It entertained the crowd. Did it pander? Yes. But that's fan service for you. If that's the case, the fucking main event was the ultimate form of fan service. I loved the main event and the final 5-10 minutes of that match. Literally, I was just like, what in the holy shit am I witnessing? You know what I mean? It was wild, and I loved every second of it. It really was. I loved it. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get back into this. But yeah, so Matt and Jeff, they've had their own issues, Boom! Twist of fate, bitch! They've had their own issues as, rivals. They had that rivalry leading up to WrestleMania 25 and beyond. No, you don't. Thinking you can tag in Edge. Edge and Christian against the Hardys, obviously. Had that world famous tag team ladder match at No Mercy in '99. Fuck me, still an absolute banger to this fucking day. And that's because, teams like the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and then subsequently the Dudleys, they wanted to put tag team wrestling back on the map. They were so dedicated to the cause that they were willing to up the ante all the time and put their bodies on the line for our entertainment, and every time nailed it. Ladder matches, table matches, TLC matches, just absolutely fucking goddamn brilliant. Now you love every damn second of it. You never want to end, but it's got to end because there has to be a winner. Thank you very much, Edge and Christian, the Hardys and the Dudleys. I mean, it's a shame that... Yep, okay, that's smart. I mean, it's a shame that we're never going to see these great teams face each other, again. What with Devon, I think he's full-on retired now because he had a stroke or something like that. He had some kind of medical issue. I don't want to say a stroke because I'm not even 100% sure if it was. But then, Edge and Christian, they're in AEW, and they're absolutely smashing it. I was going to say smiling it, but yeah, they're smiling it. They're smiling their way through and they're having fun, but they're smashing it in AEW, And then you've got Jeff Hardy, you know, his body can't take much more. I still think the Hardys go to WWE, head to NXT, have one last run as some kind of tag team champions, you know. I mean, would it be fan service giving them the tag team titles? Yes, it fucking would. But also at the same time, have them have the gold one last time, and then basically, not saying phase them out, but just let them ride off into the sunset and everything like that. And then just let classic Hardys, you know, let them ride off into the sunset. Maybe not necessarily as champions, but you know, maybe in a loser leaves town kind of deal, and then they become like trainers, or they become, you know, just something at the performance center. Give them meaning. Have the Hardys become managers for someone, you know. So they're still on the road, still on WWE TV, or still on NXT, or whatever. I know wrestling is like a drug to the wrestlers, you know. You want that pop, you miss the pop, especially when you get round to retiring. Some people just can't let it go. Ric Flair, for example. But there has to be a point when, you know, you've got to let your ego sort of go. You know, you got to let your ego sort of go and just, like I said, ride off into the sunset. Especially, you know, when your body can't exactly take much more. So it's going to finish off. Boom! KO! Lita. God, I loved her during the Attitude Era. I mean, the outfit that Ivory's got is just before she went ahead and became part of Right to Censor. So, you know what? It's good to see Ivory in something else. You know, obviously, I can't remember, but I know in Shut Your Mouth she's got a different outfit, you know, not in her Right to Censor gear. Obviously, she became very, you know, Right to Censory, you know, when she joined around this time. And she was kind of like the prototype for like what Molly Holly became, you know, pure and wholesome. God bless you, Molly Holly, you are an absolute legend. And so I was about to say that's a road break. And so are you, Ivory. Well, both women, well-deserved Hall of Famers as well. Ivory, I think she won the Women's Championship on 2 occasions, 4 for Lita. They didn't really have too much of a big rivalry. I know when Ivory won her Women's Championship while she was with Right to Censor, she beat Lita for the title, because I think Lita beat, I think it was Stephanie McMahon. So yeah. And, you know, they never really had too much of a big rivalry. It was before you could do, like, you know, the whole drop elbow. So never really had massive rivalry. They wrestled each other, yes, but never a big rivalry. Kick out. How did she grab me when I was in the middle of the air? Oh well, that's just the logistics of the game. But, you know, Leah, I'm going to say it, but Leah definitely made men out of a lot of boys. Let's just put it that way. You know. And, you know, both women, even today, still look absolutely beautiful. They have aged one... you know what, I'm actually not going to carry on, just in case I open up a can of worms, but you can pretty much tell where I was going to go with that. Either way, both women still very much beautiful. You know? I mean, even then, back in the year 2000, they were still, you know, very beautiful women. you know, and both knew how to work the crowd. Lita both as a good guy, bad guy, you know, babyface heel kind of dynamic. Ivory always worked best as the heel. Ride to Center days definitely proved that. You know, right, okay, let's try hitting it. Go on. Boom! Let's get the free count. Wow, kick out 1. No selling the Lita soul. What a bitch. But yeah, both women deserved Hall of Famers, and Lita even had a cheeky run with the women's tag team belts with Becky Lynch. I think were they the champions walking into WrestleMania 39? I can't remember. But either way, you know, she won. She was a women's tag team champion, and you know, for that to happen for a legend, you know, especially one from her era, is great. You know, I've definitely got no issues with that. I mean, a lot of people obviously question Becky Lynch winning everything all the time too. I almost had a heart attack at the end of that match. So what happened was, like, you know, obviously you got the 3 count, and I was like, okay, I'll finish what I was saying about Becky Lynch winning everything in the next match. And then, hold on. Oh, got a 2 count out of that. But then, all of a sudden, the screen froze. The music was still playing, but it froze, and I was like, oh no. Oh no, don't tell me you've crashed. Because obviously when you're 5 matches in, technically 4 because we didn't get the hardcore time limit, but that's fine. You know, I was just like, no, don't tell me you've crashed. And luckily, it didn't. You know, the music was still playing, the screen was frozen, and everything like that. I was like, shit. But luckily, that wasn't the case. But yeah, back to what damn, that was a big clothesline. But yeah, back to what I was saying about Becky Lynch winning everything. I know a lot of people are referring to Becky Lynch as like Becky Hogan because she wins everything. No, it's kind of like... do you remember the John Cena lull moments or John Cena wins lull moments? You know? Like, a lot of people were saying with Becky Lynch that it's effectively come back to that. Lynch wins all the time. She doesn't need it because she's been on the main roster for 9 years, etc, etc. She's won it all. Let's give it to, you know, different talent and what have you. You know, so I get why people are bitching and everything like that. And, you know, sometimes complain about, like, the veterans winning the titles when they don't really need it. But, you know, to go back to, like, Lita and Becky Lynch winning the women's tag team titles, like I said, you know, to have someone, you know, a women's wrestler from basically the era from when I started growing up, which is not growing up, from when I was, you know, really getting into wrestling, which, you know, is late Attitude Era, you know, and Lita's a legend, you know, and to have this one title win, it's great, you know, I loved it. Wasn't exactly the most inspiring of runs, no, of course not, but at the same time she still won. But yes, Al Snow, Perry Saturn, here comes the snowplow, boom, right, let's pin ya, get this over and done with. Mick Foley or As Mankind against Triple H. Now, we all remember like the excellent matches that Foley and Triple H have had, but obviously most of the time they were as, you know, Cactus Jack when Foley was Cactus. And they were all such hard-hitting, incredible matches, bloody matches as well. You can never forget Hell in a Cell. You can never forget the street fight back at Royal Rumble and No Way Out back in 2000. But then you've got the incredibly underrated yeah, like underrated, underappreciated, whatever you want to call it, match. It was a Falls Count Anywhere when Triple H was, I think, a few months removed from winning King of the Ring. Something like that, anyway. And, you know, he faced Cactus in that Falls Count Anywhere match. And it was still just as brilliant, still as just as good as what you expect from a Foley Triple H match. And the thing is, it's like, these guys fucking complemented each other a lot. I mean, it's great when you're watching two guys go at it and it just works. You know, we're going to see if Triple H is going to quit, because that's what this is. I quit, bitch. Nope, not quitting yet, and that's fine. That is fine. But the thing is, Triple H has got most of the main assault in at the moment. I mean, we all know that Mick Foley's best matches as Mankind are he's feud over the years with The Undertaker, whether it was the Boiler Room Brawl or Hell in a Cell. You know, we all remember those. Shit, how if you don't remember those or don't know them, for the love of God, please check them out, because especially Hell in a Cell, because even over 25 years later, it's still the best. But it's all because of shock value. It's all because of, like, you see the punishment that Mick goes through, and Jesus. I mean, Undertaker was even injured walking into the match. He had a broken foot, and he still wrestled with that. You see Terry Funk get chokeslammed literally out of his shoes, and he was wearing tennis shoes. Foley loses more teeth. Like, he came out with the mother of all concussions, and he still kept going for our entertainment. Mick Foley, I continuously say this, but thank you for everything you gave us, your body, all the time. And, you know, Papa H, Triple H, you know what I mean? Paul Levesque, what a man as well. You know, some people will be like, oh yeah, they fucked his way to the top. I'll shut up with that. That's years ago. Let it go. I mean, the man went ahead and created a legacy. Don't give up, Nick. Do not give up. You know, the man went ahead and created his own legacy. And now look at him. He is literally the king of WWE. And his new era, I know we're a few short months into the new era and everything like that, but I'm all in for the ride. You know, I am. I think in terms of what he did with, say, like the Bloodline storyline and how it continuously evolves, you know, Judgment Day, like Drew McIntyre, just everything. He's done an incredible job. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, but he's buried XYZ person, or he hasn't given enough attention to XYZ person. You can't give attention to everyone. If you want that to happen, your wrestling shows are going to start becoming like 5-6 hours long. You know? I mean, why do you think WrestleMania split into 2 days? Because to give everyone a fair shot, give them some kind of ring time and a decent payday, right? The only thing to do is to split it in half. And do you want Raw SmackDown to be 5-6 hours so Papa H can give us everything that we want? You know? Oh, but this person should be world champion. That person should be world champion. There should be, I mean, like, for years we've been saying shit like this. And don't get me wrong. Like, it is a case of, like, yes, certain people could have been excelled to a better position, but they are incredibly talented wrestlers. But then, you know, you get those who seize the opportunities that are presented to them. Maybe some are just better than others in other aspects and it fits well. Or, you know, we're sticking by the old model of, like, who sells best. You know, who's selling the most merch and everything like that. Now, I know that might not be the case with certain people because they might not exactly be top sellers, but at the same time, you know, they might not be the top seller, but are still very much at the top. But also, it's like, think about, like, the level of popularity that certain wrestlers get and why they get certain screen time and what have you. I mean, everyone fucking loves R-Truth. He'll never be world champion. I mean, I hope he gets another singles run, but it's also great, you know, him being with Miz, Awesome Truth, winning tag team gold and everything like that. It's great, don't get me wrong, but he's on TV a lot because he's funny as shit. He's one of the funniest wrestlers to ever live. He broke Brock Lesnar, you know? And yes, someone like Ricochet, because of his unbelievable abilities, does deserve more time. But maybe there's a reason why he's been quote-unquote limited with screen time and everything like that. Triple H has his favourites from, you know, sticking with him in NXT. Some have prospered, some have failed. Karrion Kross being one of them. Effectively, what I'm trying to say is just look at it from a different angle. Some people have succeeded, some haven't. There are reasons as to why some succeed at the top and some don't, right? And plus we all know Raw, Smackdown is a completely different beast than, say, what NXT, you know, Black and Gold, NXT 2.0, and what, you know, the new NXT is. You know, so I'm going to stop talking about that now. Anyway, Rock vs Undertaker World Wrestling Federation Championship. This is our main event match. And there was something that I only just clocked, actually. Right, so now I get the reason they didn't use a particular song was because of licensing reasons and everything like that, but obviously this is American Badass Undertaker, or beginning of American Badass Undertaker, you know, when he was highly overrated and everything like that. It just seemed no matter who he went up against, he would squash, unless it was someone of the same size, a la Kane, or someone who was effectively, you know, higher in the mountain than him, a la Rock, Austin, Triple H, even though he did, you know, occasionally beat Triple H. No, wait, no, Triple H didn't beat him for a while. Anyway, so around this time, Undertaker, when he returned at Judgment Day 2000 during the end of the Iron Man match between Rock and Triple H, right? I have no idea what to say about that. That was a bit of a shocking end. Didn't get to hit a people's elbow. Didn't get to hit anything. Just a, you know, sunset flip. Boom, 1, 2, 3, and we're done. Wow. Okay, so that was the worst main event I think I've put on in quite some time. That was bad. And I do apologise for that. Oh my god. But what I was going to say, so like when Undertaker returned at Judgment Day in 2000, interfering in the 60-minute Iron Man match between Rock and Triple H and completely ruining the match, obviously it was the shock return and the way that ended and blah, 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 blah. But if you remember correctly, when Undertaker returned at that time, he came out to Kid Rock's American Badass. Now, occasionally since then, when Undertaker has made his return, especially when he goes through his American Badass phase, or returning to that kind of thing, like, you know, that moment he had with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight, rest in peace Bray, as well as the moment that he had on NXT confronting Bron Breakker, right? He came out to Kid Rock's American Badass, right? Then a few short months later, because Limp Bizkit were, you know, the biggest alternative band in the world at that time, he came out to Limp Bizkit's Rollin'. But one thing never clicked with me until now. So I've played this game countless times over the years, and, you know, one way or another, I faced The Undertaker, and obviously you can see, like, you know, the pseudo entrances that they do and everything like that. And Undertaker has his American Badass look. And, you know, it's got, like, the bell toll. And then it's got the creepy kids going, he's here. And then the music kicks in. I've only just realised that that music is from Raw is War. It's it's the theme music from Raw is War. It's only just clicked in my brain. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously for licensing issues, they couldn't use American Badass by Kid Rock or, Limp Bizkit's Rollin'. Obviously they used Rollin' for Just Bring It. But yeah, wow. It's literally only just clicked in my brain. Anyway, so now normally at the end of these things, you can see how the event racked up in terms of audience rankings. So these are the ratings that we got, 30 being the absolute best. I want to see what 16.7 for that fucking main event. That was a garbage main event. But let's just have a look at them. So we've got a 16.7% rating, 10.3 for the Mankind Triple H match. Not much better for Snow and Saturn. Lita, Ivory, the lowest. I feel that's a bit rude. The tag team match ended up getting a 12.7. 15.7 for the match I didn't get to play. 11.4 for Scotty and Dean. And then finally 14.7. So if we look at the top three, one of them, match number 3, is the match that I didn't play. That is very, very interesting. Wow. Okay. Let's just go into audience rankings, see what it says. PPV. So there's mine, WM1E, 12.7. Not bad. Not bad. Now, obviously, we're not going to look at the matches because we just had a look at them. But yeah. Garbage main event. I'll admit, I'll put my hands up and say that was garbage. That was bad. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this episode of Main Event Wrestling. And thank you for joining me for Championship Monday 2. Am I planning a Championship Monday 3? Yes, I am. When is it going to happen? I don't know. I mean, I've got matches, on 2K. I've still got Shut Your Mouth. I've got other things, I want to get through. But Championship Monday 3 will make a return. Maybe on SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, if I can. If not, sooner. But yeah, or one of the other WWE games. We'll see. But yeah, thanks very much for joining me here on Main Event Wrestling and Championship Monday 2. And I do apologise once again that we couldn't see all 8 matches as I had to skip through the hardcore match because 30 minutes? Are you for fucking real? Sorry, Miss Jackson. Are you for real? Anyway, so thank you very much for joining me. As always, if you like it, give it a like, share the video as well, because more shares and more views and more views, the more that channel continues to grow, and the more that I get to do this for you. Subscribe to L-1 Entertainment, and if this is your first time on the channel, don't forget to check it. Don't forget to check out all of the other content that is currently available, because you never know, there might be something that you like. And if you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so you are notified about any and all content that goes live onto the channel. Alright, finally, drop me a comment below. Have you enjoyed this? Do you want to see a Championship Monday 3, etc., etc.? So, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Main Event Wrestling. And I will see you next time for some more 1, 2, 3 count Main Event Wrestling. Take it easy, everyone.